On the 22nd of March, India celebrated its healthcare workers with plates, bells, conch shells, claps and crackers. Indians came out in their balconies, on their terraces and lawns to thank their Wuhan virus heroes. 4 days later, the United Kingdom followed. On the 26th of March, Britons clapped for the NHS, the National Health Service workers, 1.3 million of them. A day later, this happened in Seattle.
That's so nice.
Get him up there. Can you get him?
I don't know.
Soon, Clap for Our Carers became a movement. It now has a legit Wikipedia page, a website of its own, with a day of its own, Clap for Our Carers Day, 25th of March, 2021. That's 5 months away. What happens to our carers in the meantime? How are our doctors coping with the pandemic? Are they okay? Far from it. They're still on the front line, battling the Wuhan virus, battling stigma, homesickness. Why aren't we talking about their plight? Did you know healthcare workers account for 10% of the global infection? At least 7,000 health workers have died of the Wuhan virus. 515 doctors have died in India alone. More than 2,200 of them have tested positive for the Wuhan virus. In the United States, more than 360 doctors have died. In Italy, 168, Brazil, 244, the UK, 33. Doctors have lost their lives and they have all died caring for our loved ones. But who will care for the caregivers? Hello and welcome to Gravitas Plus. I'm Palki Sharma Upadhyay, and tonight I want to talk to you about the plight of doctors, the problems they're facing, the risk they're taking. How are governments caring for our carers, if they are doing it at all? Are corporates doing enough for the doctors? Are they contributing a portion of the CSR or Corporate Social Responsibility Fund to the well-being of doctors? And finally, how you and I as individuals can help our frontline workers, because we may have gotten used to this battle, but it's far from over. I want to begin by showing you some recent headlines. This is from the United States. Young doctor who died of coronavirus was forced to wear the same mask for weeks and weeks. In an open letter, doctors in Northern Ireland say, and I'm quoting, "We need to reduce the potential for transmission to protect our health service." In India, doctors are struggling because hospitals are short-staffed. In the United States, healthcare workers do not have enough PPEs. Doctors and nurses worldwide are suffering from physical and emotional crisis. This is because of the pandemic and because we have not done enough to help them. Doctors across the world are stressed and many of them have broken down mentally. Here's why. Number one, the Wuhan virus has posed a professional challenge. Doctors are dealing with a new and unknown virus. They're expected to cure patients of the virus without knowing very much about it. Number two, this is a pandemic, which means there is significant surge in the number of patients that these doctors are treating. There is a strain on resources, a strain on doctors. Many of them are working 48-hour shifts. Number three, doctors are treating a highly infectious virus, meaning every time they're treating a patient, they're also risking their own lives. And number four, there aren't enough PPE kits to reduce this risk of infection. There aren't enough masks, even now. Number five, risking their own lives also means exposing their loved ones to the deadly Wuhan virus. Healthcare workers also have families. Some have young children, others have aging parents at home, and they're putting their loved ones at risk just to help our families in fighting the virus. Now look at how we're thanking them. On the 8th of April, 2 trainee doctors in New Delhi were assaulted by neighbors. They were accused of spreading the virus. On the 19th of April, a mob in Chennai disrupted the burial of a neurosurgeon who had died of the Wuhan virus. The mob assumed that the body may be contagious. In the city of Indore, medical workers were chased by a stone-throwing mob. Healthcare workers became the new untouchables. In the Philippines, a nurse was doused with bleach. He lost his eyesight. In Pakistan, a nurse was evicted from her apartment. In Mexico, healthcare workers were blocked from public transport. According to reports, nurses are scared to wear their uniform outside work because they are being attacked. Mexico recorded 21 attacks on nurses by the 27th of April. Nurses had to make a plea on national television. "Please do not attack us," they said. Can you imagine what these healthcare workers must be going through? Research from previous epidemic and pandemics, such as the SARS outbreak in 2003 or the MERS epidemic in 2012, has shown that healthcare professionals can experience a broad range of psychological morbidities, including trauma. And we all know the link between trauma and suicide. Did you know that doctors have the highest rate of suicide compared to other professions? And I'm not downplaying any other profession here, but right now we're only talking about healthcare professionals. In the United States, roughly 1 doctor dies every day. Why? Because of stress. And the environment is such that they cannot reach out for professional help. There is stigma here too. People do not like to visit a doctor who may be visiting a life coach. Doctors feel a strong professional obligation to keep a strong front. Continue working. Continue attending to patients despite having reached a point of breakdown themselves. This has worsened during the pandemic. A top emergency room doctor in Manhattan died by suicide in April. Dr. Lorna M. Breen had treated many Wuhan virus patients. The 49-year-old told her friends that she was embarrassed when she suffered a breakdown. In India, an online survey was conducted between the 28th of March and the 6th of April. 35% of the doctors who responded said they were depressed. 40% had anxiety. 33% were stressed. A similar survey was conducted in Northern Ireland. This was between the 26th and 28th of May. 32% of the respondent doctors reported that they were suffering from depression, anxiety, stress, burnout, emotional distress. It's been 5 to 6 months since these surveys. The number of infections and patients have shot up, as have the number of deaths. In which direction do you think the mental health graph is headed? Then there are these other relevant questions. What happens when a doctor gets infected or dies of the Wuhan virus? Who takes care of the doctor's family? Have governments thought about it? Well, some have, many haven't. In India, the government is providing an insurance of 50 lakh rupees for each healthcare worker for 3 months. In Delhi, doctors who died fighting the Wuhan virus were given 1 crore rupees. In the United Kingdom, the government has announced an ex gratia of £60,000 for the kin of NHS doctors who die on the front line. In France, healthcare workers treating Wuhan virus patients are getting €1,500. These are all welcome gestures. And yet, money is not everything. Doctors risk their lives to save ours. Their families, too, are making an immense sacrifice. Is the civil society doing anything to thank these doctors? What are corporates doing? Are they channeling their CSR fund towards the well-being of frontline workers? To be fair, at least in India, we have seen cases of CSR money being used to provide healthcare facilities and relieve some strain off the doctors. But more needs to be done. Trained medical practitioners can volunteer in COVID wards. This will reduce the shifts of those already working there. Did you know there is a fatigue in even wearing a PPE kit? The layers increase your body temperature. It can shoot up to 40 degrees Celsius. The mask is so tight that it leaves a mark around your nose. Even if you smile, the kit is compromised. Once you don a PPE kit, you cannot drink water, eat, or even visit the washroom. Doctors wear these kits for 8 to 12 hours at a stretch. They endure heat stress, emotional stress. It is time to help our health workers. Our turn to save their lives. 1,320 health workers have died in Mexico, 1,077 in the US, 649 in the UK, 634 in Brazil, Russia 631, India 573, South Africa 240, Italy 188, Peru 183, Indonesia 181, Iran 164, Egypt 159. These are not just numbers or individuals. These are people who had families, children, parents, spouses. How can the world help them? Take care of their children, help their families, donate masks and PPE kits. And if nothing, the next time you meet a healthcare worker, a doctor, a nurse, a hospital staff, say thank you.
Gravitas Plus, co-presented by Skoda. Simply clever.